Before this video, as usual, I would like to thank my very little subscribers, which to me feels like a whole bunch. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Thank you guys for hearing me out every time I just want to talk shit. So I'm going to give a review, give a reaction to my boy Bernie Mac. No, not Bernie Mac. Well, he's like Bernie Mac, but just without the Bernie Sanders. So Bernie Sanders, I mean, who doesn't want Bernie Sanders as president, right? Who don't want Bernie Sanders as their president? This dude right here, man, Bernie Sanders is a man who preaches real equality. Equality through healthcare, equality through housing, and equality through good pay for hard-working Americans.
I was at the Trump inauguration yesterday, and needless to say, I disagree with much of what he had to say.
The Donald Trump inauguration, I already knew it was going to be filled with a whole bunch of hoopla. It was going to be filled with a whole bunch of filler things to say, a whole bunch of masculinity, just the typical Trump shit. Like I knew that's exactly what was going to happen.
But what really struck me, however, is not what he said, which was not surprising given his rhetoric.
Now, had Trump came in different and was speaking differently and was more pro the people, not pro rich people, pro the working American people, pro real America, I would have been shocked. I'd have been asking, hey, is this AI Trump? Did someone AI the inauguration day? No, it's the same. It's the same shit. Yeah, it's the same.
But what he didn't say, the simple truth is that Donald Trump gave a major speech, the first speech of his second presidency, and ignored virtually every important issue facing the working families of this country.
Trump really ignored all the real issues just as much as he ignores Melania. Shout out to Melania for for being such a stand-up dumbass. Shout out to you, Ma.
How crazy is that? Our healthcare system is broken.
So I'm going to keep it 100% here. The healthcare system is broken, just like Bernie says. And if the Luigi Mangione assassination, murder, whatever you want to call it, is not an eye-opener as to how much the healthcare system is broken, I don't know what to say. If that's not an indication that shit has to change. I don't support the murder, but I do support reasoning. And this is the shit that happens. When you don't put a stop sign at the corner, there's gonna be a lot of deaths. There's gonna be a lot of shit going on until you put that stop sign in the corner, and now that corner is a safe corner to walk across. And that's the way the healthcare system is. If you don't help the people who deserve the help, shit like this happens. Because I guarantee you, there's more than one Luigi Mangione out there.
Is dysfunctional, and it's wildly expensive. Not one word from Trump about how he is going to address the healthcare crisis.
Honestly, I would have been okay with Trump saying that there's a concept that I got something brewing. There's gonna be something beautiful, something like that. I'd have been like, okay. At least he's saying the shit that he always says.
We pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, sometimes 10 times more than the people in other countries.
That's a fact, because I've gone to like CVS or Rite Aid to pick up my wife's prescriptions and had to pay a copay, and I had hold on one second. Yeah, hello? Yeah, I thought you said you had copays. This is not a copay. This is an expensive pay. You want me to roll that back and tell them not to give you that one? It's still expensive.
And 1 out of 4 Americans are unable to afford the prescriptions that their doctors prescribe. Not one word in his speech on the high cost of prescription drugs. We have 800,000 Americans who are homeless and millions of people spending 50 or 60% of their limited income on housing.
It would be really nice for Trump to have gone up there and say, we're going to fix the housing system. That's right, we're going to make a bigger and better housing system where we are going to eliminate poverty, eliminate homelessness. That is making America. You know, shit like that. It would have really been nice to hear him say something like that, but I mean we are getting total opposite. Instead, he'd rather talk about Greenland and the Gulf of Mexico. Who gives a fuck? Who cares about that? I don't care about that. No, that doesn't help America.
We have a major housing crisis in America. Everybody knows it. And Trump, in his inaugural address, did not devote one word to it. Today in America, we have more income and wealth inequality than we have ever had. The wealthiest 3 people in America now own more wealth than the bottom half of our society.
Quite simple. Trump is making the richer richer while the poor continue to be poor or poorer. In his inauguration, he had, let me pull this up. He had the CEO of TikTok there, Shou-Zi Chew. He had Elon Musk there, richest man in the world. Mark Zuckerberg was there. Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook, and Sundar Pichai. Sundar Pichai is the head of Google. Tim Cook is the owner of Apple. And Jeff Bezos, obviously, is the guy, the founder of Amazon. You know, and it's like creating an oligarchy. And it's just like, it's kind of scary, man. It's kind of really scary when you really put things into perspective and you think about it. I don't know, man. It's those guys are getting more power than what they already have, more money than what they already have. You know, Elon Musk seems to have bought his way to the position that he's in now. They don't need it. To be honest with you, they don't need it. I mean, they don't need it at all. But these people sit back and you know, they have it made. They have it made. And I'm not saying, you know, you work hard, right? And you get to a certain place in your life and you have to worry about others and stuff like that. I mean, you know, everybody, we should all work hard at what we do, period. But it's just, the whole thing is just equality. That's the whole thing, is equality, and everybody eating. Now there's gonna be different amounts. There's gonna be different amounts of what people eat, and that's fine. That's fine. But the whole point is survival, being able to afford daily life, and then being able to do just a little more. That's not a lot to ask for. Apparently, it is.
But Trump had nothing to say, not one word, about the growing gap between the very rich and everybody else. And maybe, just maybe, that's because he had those 3 people, the 3 wealthiest people in our country, sitting right behind them at his inauguration. And I should add that those 3 people, if you can believe it, and this really is unbelievable, saw their wealth increase by more than $233 billion since the November elections. How's that?
$233 billion increased since the November elections. $233 billion. That is nothing to spit on. The disparity from those increases from that moment, from November elections till now, $233 billion. Do you know how much can be done with $233 billion? Too much. Too much can be done. I mean, wow. That's too much to handle. That is a lot. And quite frankly, it's alarming. If it's not alarming, I don't know what is.
$233 billion increase in wealth for the three wealthiest people. No wonder they were sitting right behind Donald Trump at his inauguration. They couldn't be happier. During his inaugural speech, Trump did not have one word to say about how we're going to address the planetary crisis of climate change.
And one of 100 executive orders was to pull out of the Paris climate change. Listen, attacking climate change is not an easy task. Really isn't. It's not something that happens overnight, a week, a month. It happens over time. And seeing the extreme weather patterns that has been happening is an attribute to climate change. So, our job is to try to do whatever we can do to try to roll things back, because, we're just telling Earth, like, hey, man, we're going to Mars, man, so we don't really give a damn about you. Which is silly. But, pulling back from climate change was major and made it into such a big deal. Like what does it do? What does that do for the American people other than put you into risk? Put everyone into risk. It does nothing. It does nothing at all. It also makes America look stupid.
The last 10 years have been the warmest years ever recorded, and extreme weather disturbances and natural disasters are taking place all over the world, from Los Angeles to India, across Europe to North Carolina. Not one word from Trump about climate change, except, of course, to make it clear that he intends to make this horrific situation even worse with drill, baby, drill.
I decided to ask ChatGPT, what would drilling in America do for the climate? And it's quite alarming. It gives me 5 quite alarming things that can happen when the drilling is being done. Now there is that side that I guess drilling is gonna bring jobs. I mean, yeah, but I don't see there being something good, because there's jobs being brought. Anyways, number 1, it will increase gas emissions. Number 2, environmental impact of extraction. Number 3, energy market effects. Number 4, potential for cleaner production. Number 5, economic considerations and transition challenges. Now, I want to go back to potential cleaner production. Some argue that domestic drilling could be done under stricter environmental regulations compared to the other oil-producing nations, potentially reducing the global carbon footprint per barrel of oil compared to production in other countries with weaker environmental standards. However, the overall climate impact would still be negative due to continued fossil fuel use. So at the end of the day, it's like, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? energy market effects. Increasing domestic oil production could lower global oil prices, potentially encouraging greater consumption worldwide. More affordable fossil fuels could slow the transition to renewable energy sources like wind and solar, prolonging reliance on carbon intensive energy. Like I said, it's a yeah, and then it's a but, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like this. Look, it's like selling your soul to the devil, right? The devil says, "Hey, sell your soul to me. I'm gonna give you whatever you want, right? I'm gonna make things happen for you. You want money, you got money. You want fame, you got fame. You want that car that you could never afford, you got it. You want to be able to afford living, you got it. But at the end of the day, your soul belongs to me. And I promise you, you will rot in hell." Right? So that's what it's like. That it feels like that. It feels like, yeah, let's do this, but let's screw this. Listen to that. Let's do this, but let's screw this. And it's looking like the next 4 years is going to be a whole lot of let's do this. And let's screw this. Oh, boy.
Just brilliant. In the coming months and years, our job is not just to respond to every absurd statement that Donald Trump makes.
When Trump was elected in 2016, it was crazy. It was, we elected this dude who's out of box, out of character. We elected like a celebrity, right? So there's gonna be a lot of like back then for those 4 years there was a lot of he said that. For real? Hey, is he reading off the teleprompter, or is he just going off? He's going off rails. He's going off. He just said that. He said that to that Asian lady. No, get the what? Oh my God. He sent those people to the Capitol? What? Yeah. The next 4 years, there's going to be a lot of that. I this is one thing that I say, right? I say that, Trump is the second president in history to be elected again, like in between repeating his presidency, right? So president, lost the presidency, then came back again, and it was a landslide. This time it was a real landslide. But I don't know, man. There's gonna be a whole lot of I say, what I said to a lot of friends is, I think Trump probably is the only president that has this major chance to redeem himself. Now, if Trump has a lot of supporters, we cannot doubt that. We cannot doubt the fact that Trump has backup. Trump has a strong base. If Trump did things differently and decided to become a real hero, a real American hero, he would officially become the greatest president in American history. If Trump decided to back his words up, less lies, less attacking the media, less with the fake news thing, this whole AI crap. This is speaking a little bit off rails, but I watched a video of a guy after the inaugurations getting reactions of people to Elon Musk doing the whole salute. I don't know what, I forgot what it's called, but doing this and that. And this one lady was like, "Oh, that's fake. That's AI." Come on. Everybody's seen that shit live. Like, that's one thing that I hate about Trump supporters is the extreme denial about so many different things.
Our job is to stay focused on the issues that are of importance to the working families of our country and, in fact, are widely supported by the American people. Let me just mention a few of them. Yes, healthcare is a human right, and we must join every other major country in guaranteeing healthcare to all people through a Medicare for All single-payer program. Healthcare is a human right. Yes, we must take on the greed of Big Pharma and substantially lower the cost of prescription drugs in this country. Yes, we must build millions of units of affordable housing and low-income housing.
Also gives a chance for Americans to afford living in a place. It gives them a chance to afford food. It gives them a chance to afford car insurance, afford the cell phone, afford normal bills. It gives us the chance to put our kids in college. It gives us a chance to do more than just have a place where we can call home and afford to live in this place where we call home. Affordable housing and low-income housing. Not only does it house millions of Americans, but we also can't forget that it does bring on jobs too, because there are people who are needed to run these units, correct? You have the superintendent of the building, the team that takes care of the landscaping, the team that takes care of any property damage or any malfunctions within the building, plumbing, electric, paint, whatever, right? You have the team that takes care of the building as things go along, sweeping, mopping, garbage, everything. It also, there's a chance of it opening up jobs as well, because you're not going to put these buildings up and the buildings are just going to run themselves. You're going to run it into the ground if you don't have a crew running anything, right?
Yes, we must make sure that all of our young people have the ability to get a higher education by making public colleges and universities tuition-free.
Affordable education outside of high school. Your son or your daughter graduates high school and they want to further their career, they want to further their education, and they want to go off to a college. Free tuition, affordable tuition goes a long way, because everything's a domino effect. When we start to not be able, when, the older people start to not be able to do, then our kids become able to carry the torch. But there's nothing wrong with having help along the way. And being able to have a free education so that they won't drown in college debt. Because the college debt is crazy. And not only do we have to worry about medical bills, but those who went to college, you got to worry about a college bill as well. And the college bill is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then you go to college, and sometimes you don't even find a career. You don't even find, you're just like stuck. And I'm not saying that college is a bad thing, but there's a lot of kids that go to college and they're just broke. They're broke. But the college is doing their thing though. The tuition, the intuition is doing their absolute best. The college is okay. But you're going to suffer for the time you're here. There's going to be some days where you're not going to have some food. Sorry. Oh, and you better get a scholarship. Because if you don't get a scholarship, then I know your ass ain't going to be able to afford to be here.
Yes, we must work with the global community to combat climate change by cutting carbon emissions and transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel and into sustainable energy. Yes, we must pass legislation to raise the absurdly low federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour to a living wage of $17 an hour.
I like Bernie a lot, and I don't like to do too many disagreeings with him, because I really like his rhetoric. I really like what he stands on. But I am a firm believer that $17 is not enough. I think it should be a flat $20 rate. At $20, 40 hours a week. The gross is in the 40s, I believe, or in the high 30s. You add that to a two income, right? Husband and wife making $20 an hour each. That's sustainable. You have both parties making the same money, making about 80 grand a year. You're able to afford the $1,500 to $2,100 rent. You're able to afford the car insurance, which car insurance fluctuates depending on your history, your driver license history, or just depending on what state you're in. You're able to afford food. You're able to afford bills, water, light, cell phone. I'm not going to sit here and say you're able to afford health coverage, because that's a lie. Now, another thing that I would like to throw out there is this should also be implemented. This should also become an argument in the workforce. If I'm coming in for my 8 or 12-hour shift and my coworker can't make it to work that day for whatever reason, and I now have to go above and beyond, and I have to do two people worth of work, would it be fair for me to get my regular $10 an hour plus an extra $10 an hour as time and a half, because now I'm doing double the work? Is that a fair thing? Now, would there be a counter to that? Would there be okay, you do that, but now your single overtime for the week would be peeled back? That shouldn't be a thing. If overtime is available, overtime is available. If you're able to cover for someone else's shift and you have to do 2 times the work, then you should have time and a half for that day. Just saying.
Anybody who works 40 hours a week in this country should not be living in poverty. Yes, we must pass the PRO Act and make it easier for workers to join trade unions and grow the trade union movement in America. Yes, in order to help fund the needs of working families in this country, we must demand that the wealthiest people in this country, including those individuals sitting right beside Donald Trump at his inaugural, start paying their fair share of taxes.
That's where greed comes into place. You know, none of these people, none of these big billionaires can sit here and say that if I pay more taxes, I'll become poor. If you pay more taxes, you'll have less money, of course. But the money going back into America is money that'll help those who need that help. It'll go towards these jobs that need to be funded. You know, so I mean, greed is real. Greed is not going anywhere. Greed is not going anywhere. I had an old saying one time. I changed the word freedom to greedom. Greedom should be an actual word. Because greed just doesn't seem to die. And these people that make all this money, the people that were sitting around Donald Trump and supporting him, like I said before, since the elections in November, they became a whole lot more richer. A whole lot more richer. And you mean to tell me that you earn that much and you can't pay your fair share of taxes, or your taxes shouldn't be raised? Come on, you get blue collar. Us blue collar people we're getting our taxes raised. Things are, you know. Speaking about things raising, I really can't wait to see what this tariff crap is gonna do, because it sounds more terrifying than an actual tariff thing that's gonna help America.
Yes, we must end a corrupt campaign finance system which allows a handful of billionaires to buy elections and move us rapidly into an oligarchic form of society. Bottom line, as we enter the new Trump presidency, we have got to remain focused. We cannot panic. no matter how many executive orders he signs, and no matter how many absurd statements he makes, our goal remains the same. We have got to educate, we have got to organize, we have got to put pressure on Congress to do the right things. And by the way, with Republicans only holding a 3 or 4 seat advantage in the House, we can stop them time and time again if we are organized. Finally, my friends, we have got to fight to create an America based on economic, social, racial, and environmental justice. That's what we've got to work on. Let's go forward. Let's do it. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. There's my reaction to this, Bernie's reaction to the inauguration. You gotta love Bernie. You really do. He's factual. He's on point. He's always been for the people. And everything that he mentions is, things that are just like, wow, this is the way it should be. There will be panic. There will be panic this next 4 years. And, man. And you know what's sad about it is that there's gonna be panic on so many different levels, America is gonna go back to feeling like America is out of control, because from 2016 to 2020, that's exactly what it felt like. And I'm hoping there is not another pandemic that comes our way, because under Biden we didn't have a pandemic. He came in and he controlled it. I'm really hoping that we don't go back to that age. With that being said, if a pandemic does come, at least there's an array of sunlight where you can say, you know what, Trump has experience. So there should be no getting caught with your pants down kind of thing. So hopefully it doesn't happen, and if it does, he has the experience to combat it and not drop the ball on it. Thank you, guys. I was gonna end the video there, but I forgot. Thank you to my subscribers. If you want to hear more videos about me talking about politics, making funny skits, and just doing random shit, definitely hit that subscribe button. Definitely drop some comments. I'll respond to your comments. For those of you who decided to subscribe to me, I greatly appreciate it. Not only does it build the channel, but it also builds confidence. It also builds confidence that I am doing something right. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video.